Dr. Alice Hanover sat hunched over her workstation, the glow of the computer screen illuminating her focused expression against the darkened backdrop of the remote research station. The Arctic wind howled outside, a constant reminder of the isolation at the world's edge. Alice, a dedicated climatologist, had spent months here monitoring atmospheric anomalies, but tonight, something entirely unexpected was commanding her attention. It began as an odd interference in her data, a pattern that didn't conform to any known natural phenomena. At first, Alice attributed it to a technical glitch, but as the pattern persisted and grew clearer, it morphed into something undeniably deliberate. It was a signal, a series of structured, rhythmic pulses that seemed almost intentional. Could it be? She muttered to herself, leaning closer to the screen. The data was coming from a location not far from her station, an area believed to be nothing but endless ice. Curiosity piqued, Alice initiated a deep scan protocol, hoping to trace the signal's origin. The results were startling. The signal was emanating from beneath the ice, from coordinates that, according to all her maps and references, should have been just another part of the vast, uninhabited glacier. Alice cross-referenced the data with satellite imagery and historical charts, but nothing indicated any reason for such transmissions from that spot. Fueled by a mixture of excitement and apprehension, Alice decided she needed to investigate the source directly. However, such an expedition would require more expertise than she alone possessed. She drafted an email to several contacts: Marcus, a friend and experienced polar guide; Dr. Evelyn Shaw, a biologist who specialized in Arctic ecosystems; and Leo, a geologist whose work with ice cores could prove invaluable. Subject: urgent. Expedition proposal, Alice began, her fingers hovering over the keyboard as she considered how to explain the inexplicable. I've detected an unusual signal beneath the Arctic ice, originating from coordinates I will provide. This is unlike any atmospheric or geological pattern I've recorded before. Your expertise is critically needed to unravel this mystery. Please respond ASAP. Within hours, responses began to trickle in, each filled with the same mix of skepticism and intrigue that Alice herself felt. Agreements to join the expedition were secured by the promise of discovery in an area so rarely trodden by humans. Preparations began immediately. Alice gathered the necessary equipment: sensors, drilling gear, survival supplies, while coordinating with her soon-to-arrive colleagues. Each day was spent in rigorous planning and double-checking every detail. The Arctic was unforgiving. Even a small oversight could mean disaster. The team convened at the research station a week later, greeted by the eerie silence that only the Arctic could offer. Marcus, with his easygoing demeanor, broke the ice. Well, Alice, this better be worth dragging me out of a perfectly warm summer. Evelyn, ever the scientist, was more direct. Let's see the data then. This signal of yours had better not be a glitch. Leo, quiet but observant, simply nodded, his gaze fixed on the maps and equipment laid out across the station's main table. Alice led a briefing, laying out the objectives and challenges. Our target is approximately 30 miles northeast, she explained, pointing to a marked spot on the map. We'll need to traverse unstable ice, so Marcus, your guidance will be crucial. Evelyn, once we reach the site, your environmental assessments will help us understand the biological impact. And Leo, I'm hoping you can help us analyze the ice composition around the source. The group spent the next 2 days acclimatizing and finalizing their strategies. As they loaded the last of their gear onto the sleds, Alice felt a chill that wasn't from the cold. The signal had changed slightly, growing stronger, as if beckoning them more urgently beneath the frozen moon. With everything ready, the team set out across the icy expanse, the sun barely skimming the horizon in a perpetual twilight. Ahead of them lay unknown mysteries, hidden beneath miles of ice, holding secrets that Alice couldn't begin to guess. The Arctic call had been made, and its echo would lead them into the depths of both the ice and the unknown. As the Arctic wind whipped across the desolate expanse, Alice's thoughts were consumed by the possibilities of what lay beneath the ice. The signal, both alluring and unnerving, promised a discovery that could redefine her career and perhaps much more. But the dangers of such an expedition were not lost on her, and assembling the right team was critical. Marcus Werner, the team's polar guide, was the first to arrive at the research station. A grizzled veteran of countless expeditions, his experience in navigating the harshest environments on Earth was unmatched. Marcus brought not only his expertise but also a grounded perspective that was invaluable. As they reviewed the maps and planned their route, his insights into the ice's behavior and potential hazards shaped their strategy. Dr. Evelyn Shaw, a biologist specializing in Arctic ecosystems, was next to join. Her fascination with life in extreme conditions had led her to some of the coldest corners of the planet. Evelyn's role was to assess the environmental impact of their expedition and to investigate any biological phenomena associated with the mysterious signal. Her keen analytical skills and experience with Arctic flora and fauna provided a critical scientific dimension to the team. The final member to arrive was Leo Franklin, a geologist whose specialty in ice core analysis could help decipher the area's climatic history. Leo's quiet demeanor belied a sharp mind and a knack for solving complex geological puzzles. His expertise would be crucial in understanding the physical properties of the ice surrounding the signal's origin. Once assembled, Alice convened a meeting in the main hall of the station, the walls lined with monitors and equipment that buzzed softly in the background. She presented the data she had collected: the unusual signal, its coordinates, and the preliminary satellite imagery of the area. "This isn't just about following a signal," Alice explained, her eyes scanning the faces of her team. "It's about understanding what it represents. We could be on the brink of a significant scientific discovery, or we could find something unexpected. I need all of you at your best." Marcus spoke up, his voice steady. "We're going into uncharted territory, both literally and figuratively. The ice is unpredictable, and the conditions will be extreme. We'll need to rely heavily on each other's expertise." Evelyn added, "And let's not overlook the potential ecological implications. Whatever is emitting this signal could be part of a larger environmental puzzle. My equipment is ready to analyze any biological samples we might encounter." Leo, who had been examining the satellite photos, pointed to a series of anomalies in the ice patterns near the coordinates. "There are some unusual formations here that don't quite fit with the natural layout of the glacier. It's almost as if something beneath has shifted the ice." Their plan took shape. They would travel by snowmobile to the coordinates, a journey of approximately 30 miles northeast of their current position. The route would take them through some of the most challenging terrain the Arctic had to offer, requiring them to navigate crevasses and unstable ice bridges. The team spent the next few days preparing. They checked and double-checked their equipment, packed emergency supplies, and conducted drills to ensure everyone knew how to react in a crisis. Alice insisted on strict communication protocols. If anything went wrong, they needed to be able to rely on their training and each other without hesitation. The night before their departure, as the Arctic sun dipped just below the horizon, Alice couldn't sleep. She stepped outside, the cold biting at her skin, and looked out over the vast, frozen landscape. The stars twinkled above, the only light in the perpetual twilight that bathed the Arctic. She thought about the signal, now more persistent, pulsing like a heartbeat in her data logs. It was as if the Earth itself was calling to them, beckoning them to uncover its secrets. With a deep breath, Alice stepped back inside. The journey ahead would test them all, but she felt ready. As the leader of this team, she would guide them into the unknown, beneath the frozen moon, towards a mystery that had waited untold ages to be discovered. Under the pale light of the Arctic dawn, the team began their journey from the research station, their snowmobiles loaded with equipment and supplies. The cold was biting, and the wind howled around them, but Alice felt an electric charge in the air, an anticipation of the unknown that lay ahead. As they traveled, Marcus led the way, expertly navigating the treacherous terrain. The landscape was a vast expanse of white, the horizon barely distinguishable from the sky. Occasionally, the silence was broken by the sound of cracking ice, a stark reminder of the dangers they faced. "Keep your eyes peeled for crevasses," Marcus shouted over the roar of the engines. "The ice can be deceiving." Evelyn was constantly monitoring the environmental sensors, which measured temperature, atmospheric pressure, and geomagnetic fields. "The magnetic readings are off the charts here," she reported, her voice tinged with both excitement and concern. "It could be interference from the signal source, or something natural, but we need to be cautious." Leo scanned the ice surface, looking for signs of instability or unusual features. "There are layers here that don't match the usual stratification," he observed, pointing to a section of blue-tinted ice. "It's like something from below is affecting the ice's formation." As they drew nearer to the coordinates, the anomalies increased. The GPS equipment began to malfunction, and their compasses spun erratically. Alice checked her own instruments, a frown forming on her brow. "We're close," she said. "Whatever is causing this, it's powerful." The team made camp as the Arctic sun hovered on the horizon, casting long shadows across the ice. As they set up tents and prepared their equipment for the next day's investigation, Alice felt a growing sense of unease. The air seemed charged, and the faint glow of the aurora borealis began to flicker in the sky above, its colors more vibrant than usual. That night, as they huddled in their tents, the ground beneath them vibrated subtly. Alice emerged, wrapped in her parka, to see a faint light glowing on the horizon. "Marcus, do you see that?" she called out. Marcus joined her, his eyes scanning the landscape. "It's not the aurora," he confirmed. "It's coming from the ground. It might be phosphorescence from the ice, but I've never seen it so concentrated." Deciding to investigate, the team approached the source of the light cautiously. As they got closer, the ground underfoot felt different, harder, almost metallic. With each step, the light grew stronger, and a low hum filled the air, vibrating through their bodies. Evelyn took samples of the air and ice while Leo used a portable ground-penetrating radar to scan the area. "There's definitely something beneath us," Leo announced, examining the radar data. "It looks like a large, metallic object, almost perfectly circular." The discovery was astounding. An artificial structure, hidden beneath the Arctic ice, emitting a signal that had reached their station miles away. What was it? An ancient artifact? A forgotten experiment? The questions raced through Alice's mind as she considered their next steps. "We need to get a closer look," Alice decided. "Tomorrow we'll drill down to it." The following day, armed with a high-powered ice drill and their array of scientific instruments, the team began the careful process of accessing whatever lay beneath the ice. The drilling took hours, the noise echoing eerily across the silent expanse. Finally, the drill broke through into an open space below. Peering down into the hole, they were met with the sight of a large metallic dome, its surface smooth and featureless, save for the strange symbols that adorned it. Symbols that matched those in the mysterious transmission Alice had received. The realization that they had discovered something truly unknown, possibly extraterrestrial or the remnant of an advanced ancient civilization, was overwhelming. The team set up a pulley system to descend into the cavity, their hearts racing as they prepared to uncover the secrets of what Alice had named the artifact. As they descended into the icy depths, their lights revealed the true extent of the artifact. It was vast, spanning several hundred feet across, and as they touched down on its surface, the humming intensified, and the symbols began to glow softly under their lights. Alice looked around at her team, their faces illuminated by the eerie light. "This is just the beginning," she said, her voice a mix of awe and determination. "Let's find out what secrets lie beneath the frozen moon." The descent into the cavity beneath the Arctic ice was like entering another world. The team's headlamps pierced the darkness, revealing a cavernous space that extended beyond the reach of their lights. The walls of the cavern glistened with ice crystals that reflected their beams, creating a mesmerizing display of light. As they stepped off the pulley system onto the solid, metallic surface of the artifact, Alice led the team toward the center where the symbols were most concentrated. Each step echoed in the vast emptiness, the sound oddly muffled by the surrounding ice. Marcus checked his equipment. All systems show stable readings, but I don't like how isolated this place feels. It's like we've stepped into a tomb. Evelyn, who was collecting air samples, nodded in agreement. The air quality is surprisingly good down here, almost too good. It's as if it's being filtered. Leo used his portable scanners to analyze the metallic surface beneath their feet. This isn't just any metal. It's an alloy unknown on Earth, composed of elements that are, frankly, not on the periodic table as we know it. The implications of Leo's findings sent a ripple of excitement mixed with apprehension through the group. They were standing on technology that was possibly alien in origin, buried beneath Earth's ice for reasons unknown. Alice approached the symbols that adorned the central part of the artifact. They pulsed softly with a blue light that seemed to grow brighter as she neared. She reached out tentatively, her hand hovering over the glowing symbols. To her astonishment, the section of the floor beneath them began to shift, revealing a circular hatch that slowly opened. A rush of warm air greeted them, carrying with it a faint, sweet scent that was completely out of place in the frozen wasteland above. The hatch led down into a further chamber that beckoned invitingly. With a collective sense of resolve, the team prepared to descend further into the artifact. They secured ropes and, one by one, rappelled down into the newly revealed chamber below. This lower chamber was radically different from the icy cavern above. It was warm, and the walls glowed with an ambient light that required no headlamps to navigate. The floor was lined with tiles made of the same unfamiliar alloy, each engraved with intricate designs and more of the mysterious symbols. At the center of this chamber stood a structure that resembled an altar or pedestal. It was adorned with more symbols and a single, large crystal that pulsed with a steady light. As they approached, the crystal's glow intensified, casting bizarre shadows on the walls. Evelyn, fascinated by the biological implications, scanned the environment. There are traces of DNA here, but not human or anything else we know of. It's as if we've stumbled upon a conservation vault of some alien species. Marcus, ever cautious, kept an eye on the chamber's entrances and exits. "We aren't alone," he muttered, noticing slight movements in the peripheries of the chamber, as if the shadows themselves were alive. Alice felt a connection to the pedestal. Compelled, she reached out and touched the crystal. Instantly, the room filled with holographic images that danced around them. Scenes of star systems, galaxies, and alien landscapes that none of them recognized. The display was not just a map but a history of interstellar travel, showing paths between stars that suggested a network of connections between distant worlds. The artifact, it appeared, was not merely a relic but a beacon or gateway that connected Earth to the cosmos. As the images faded, the crystal dimmed, and a sense of urgency overwhelmed Alice. "This isn't just about discovery," she said, turning to her team. "It's about responsibility. We've found a bridge between worlds. What we do next could redefine our place in the universe." The team agreed to gather as much data as possible before sealing the chamber. They would need to inform global authorities and prepare for the diplomatic and scientific ramifications of their discovery. As they ascended back to the surface, each member of the team was silent, lost in thought about the implications of their discovery. They had gone beneath the frozen moon seeking answers to a mysterious signal. What they found was a gateway to the stars, and with it, an invitation to join a larger cosmic community. The challenge now was to ensure that humanity was ready for such a step. Emerging from the depths beneath the frozen surface, the team was silent, each member processing the monumental discovery. The warmth of the hidden chamber below contrasted sharply with the biting Arctic chill that welcomed them back. As they made their way to the camp, the weight of what lay beneath the ice settled heavily upon them. Back at the surface camp, Alice convened an emergency meeting inside the main tent, heated and somewhat cozy compared to the outside cold. The walls of the tent fluttered slightly as gusts of wind battered its sides, a stark reminder of the harsh environment that enveloped them. "We've discovered something that changes not just our understanding of the world, but potentially our entire role in the cosmos, Alice began, her voice steady despite the racing of her heart. What lies beneath us is not just a relic or artifact. It's a gateway, possibly part of a much larger network connecting distant parts of the universe. Marcus, still clad in his cold-weather gear, leaned forward, his brow furrowed. The implications are staggering. We need to secure the site and ensure nothing is disturbed. Who knows what effects even the slightest interference could have on its stability or functionality? Evelyn nodded in agreement, her scientific curiosity battling with a prudent caution. There's also the biological aspect to consider. The traces of non-terrestrial DNA we found suggest that whoever built this gateway may have been, or could still be, in contact with Earth. We need to understand the biosafety risks before proceeding, Leo added, and the geological implications are just as significant. We need to study how this structure was built and how it interacts with Earth's lithosphere. Any knowledge we gain could advance our understanding of geophysics exponentially. Alice acknowledged their points with a nod. Our next steps must be carefully planned. We have a duty to protect this discovery and ensure it is used wisely and safely. The team agreed to set up a perimeter around the entry point to the underground chamber, installing sensors and cameras to monitor any changes or unauthorized access. They worked through the night, fortified by the gravity of their task, setting up their equipment in the unforgiving Arctic conditions. Once the site was secured, Alice took a moment to send a secure satellite message to their sponsor at the Research Foundation, briefly outlining their discovery and the need for immediate, confidential support. She avoided specifics but stressed the urgency and potential significance of the find. The response was swift. A team of experts in various fields, along with security personnel, would be dispatched to the site within 48 hours. In the meantime, Alice and her team were to continue their surveillance and begin compiling a detailed report of their findings. Over the next 2 days, the team collected samples from around the entry point, analyzed the structure's external properties, and reviewed the data they had gathered from inside the chamber. The holographic images they had witnessed were recorded and securely stored for further analysis. Their content a treasure trove of astronomical data and unknown symbols. As they worked, the reality of their discovery began to sink in. They were standing on the precipice of a new era in human understanding and capability. But with such power came immense responsibility. The potential for misuse was high, and the international implications vast. How would the world react to the knowledge that they were not alone in the universe, and that the means to reach out to other civilizations lay buried under the ice? On the evening of the second day, as the Arctic sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the ice, Alice walked to the edge of the camp. She gazed out over the frozen landscape, her mind a whirl of possibilities and dangers. In her pocket, the satellite phone buzzed. Her team from the Foundation was close, bringing with them the next phase of this incredible journey. Alice felt a mix of anticipation and fear. They had opened a door that could never be closed, and now they must navigate the path forward with wisdom and caution. As the cold wind brushed against her face, she turned back to the camp, ready to meet whatever challenges lay ahead. The secrets of the deep were no longer secrets, and the future, whatever it might hold, was irrevocably altered. In the shadow of the dim Arctic twilight, the camp was abuzz with activity as the arrival of the new team infused fresh energy into the site. The experts, astronomers, linguists, security personnel, and other specialists began setting up additional equipment around the perimeter of the ice-covered gateway. The air was electric with anticipation, mingled with a palpable tension as the reality of their discovery continued to sink in. Alice oversaw the integration of the new members, ensuring that each was briefed on the strict confidentiality and security measures in place. The initial shock of the discovery had given way to a rigorous, methodical approach to unlocking the secrets held by the artifact below. Dr. Lena Mikhailov, a renowned astrophysicist, was particularly intrigued by the holographic data Alice's team had recorded. Together with Alice, she analyzed the sequences that appeared to map out star systems and theoretical pathways between galaxies. These aren't just random patterns. They're a map, a guide. It's as if we've been given a celestial atlas that includes routes to other worlds, Lena explained, her voice a mix of awe and scientific fervor. Meanwhile, Marcus and the security team conducted patrols, wary of any unauthorized attempts to access the site. The implications of their discovery had not gone unnoticed by global powers, and the isolation of their Arctic location did little to dissuade their concerns about potential espionage or sabotage. Leo and a team of geologists drilled additional ice cores around the site, discovering more about the structure's composition and its impact on the surrounding environment. Their findings suggested that the artifact was not just placed but integrated into the Earth's crust with incredible precision, hinting at advanced technological capabilities beyond human comprehension. Evelyn worked closely with a team of biologists to analyze the non-terrestrial DNA strands they had found. The lab setup in one of the larger tents became a makeshift genetics laboratory, buzzing with the excitement of potentially discovering new biological information that could alter the understanding of life itself. As the days progressed, the team uncovered more about the artifact's function. It appeared to be a dormant relay station, part of a network that spanned the cosmos. However, one piece of the puzzle remained elusive, the means to activate the station fully. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. While reviewing the symbol patterns for the umpteenth time, Alice noticed that certain symbols corresponded to specific astronomical alignments, some of which were occurring soon. It's not just a map, it's a calendar, and it's suggesting that the next alignment might activate the station, she hypothesized. The team prepared for the event, setting up all manner of scientific equipment to monitor and record what might happen. As the alignment approached, the atmosphere grew thick with anxiety and expectation. Finally, the night arrived. As the celestial bodies moved into position, the symbols on the artifact began to glow, one by one, their light pulsing in rhythm with the alignment. The air around the site vibrated with unseen energy, and a low hum emanated from the ice below, growing steadily louder. Suddenly, the ground trembled, and a brilliant beam of light shot up from the artifact into the night sky, piercing the darkness and illuminating the camp with an otherworldly glow. The beam acted as a beacon visible for miles in all directions. The team stood in awe, watching as the sky responded. A faint outline of a vast network appeared in the heavens, a grid that connected the stars with luminous lines, mapping a network that bridged Earth to distant galaxies. Alice and her team realized that they had awakened a cosmic gateway, a connection to civilizations and knowledge that humanity had only dreamed of. The implications were enormous, offering incredible opportunities but also significant risks. In the days that followed, the global community reacted with a mix of wonder and fear. Discussions and debates raged about how to approach this new frontier. Alice found herself at the center of this storm, advocating for cautious exploration and international cooperation to manage the gateway. As new alliances formed and plans took shape to explore the cosmic network, Alice watched the stars with a new understanding. Humanity was no longer confined to looking up at the night sky in wonder. Now, they could travel the paths that had been illuminated by the artifact beneath the frozen moon. The age of cosmic exploration had begun, filled with possibilities as vast as the universe itself. The brilliant beam of light that had shot into the Arctic sky was beginning to dim, signaling the close of the celestial alignment that had activated the ancient artifact. As the light waned, the network of cosmic pathways that had briefly lit up the heavens started to fade from view. The team knew they were racing against time. The window to understand and secure this interstellar gateway was closing rapidly. Alice, feeling the urgency, rallied her team for a critical assessment. "We've initiated something that extends far beyond our original scientific pursuit," she stated solemnly in the makeshift command center, surrounded by monitors and equipment buzzing with data. "This isn't just about exploration. It's about stewardship and responsibility. We must establish protocols and secure this site." Marcus, overseeing the security measures, reported increased satellite activity overhead. "Global powers are taking an interest, and I suspect they'll want to exert control over this discovery. Our priority is to ensure it remains a tool for peaceful exploration and not a weapon." Dr. Lena Mikhailov, still mesmerized by the cosmic grid they had witnessed, worked tirelessly with her team to catalog the coordinates and calculate potential routes that could be tested. "We need to understand where these pathways lead," she explained. Each destination could hold new worlds, new life, and possibly new challenges. We have to be methodical and cautious. Meanwhile, Evelyn spearheaded an environmental impact study, concerned about the potential repercussions of activating such a powerful artifact. We've altered something deep within the Earth's crust. We must monitor any changes in the planet's magnetic field or tectonic activity that could lead to unintended consequences, she warned. Leo, fascinated by the artifact's composition and the alien technology it represented, proposed building a detailed replica of the control mechanism. If we can replicate how it interacts with the alignments, we might be able to control when and how the gateway is activated without overdependence on natural celestial events, he suggested, sparking a flurry of activity as engineers and physicists began to collaborate on the project. With the world watching and various nations expressing their desire to partake in what had quickly become the next frontier of human discovery, Alice knew that international cooperation was imperative. She reached out to global leaders, advocating for a treaty that would govern the use of the gateway, emphasizing the need for it to serve as a conduit for peace and knowledge rather than conflict. The United Nations convened an emergency session, and Alice was invited to speak. Her testimony, detailing the discovery and the potential benefits and risks, was broadcast worldwide. "We stand at the threshold of a new era in human history," she declared. "This gateway offers us unimaginable opportunities, but it also requires us to be united in our approach. We must tread carefully, respecting the potential new worlds and beings we might encounter." As diplomatic efforts continued, the team at the site maintained a vigilant watch over the artifact. The replica control mechanism was taking shape, and preliminary tests were promising. The environmental impact remained minimal, but Evelyn kept a close eye on the data, ready to sound the alarm at any sign of disturbance. In the waning days of the Arctic summer, the beam reactivated briefly during a minor celestial event, a reminder of the artifact's potent capabilities. The team managed to open the gateway again, this time controlling its duration and intensity with the replica device. A probe, equipped with cameras and sensors, was sent through, transmitting back stunning images of a distant, verdant planet that hinted at the possibility of life. As the first images flickered onto the screens in the command center, cheers erupted among the team. Humanity had not only uncovered a way to traverse the stars, but had also taken its first, tentative steps onto another world. The promise of interstellar exploration, once the realm of science fiction, was now an exhilarating reality. Alice looked on, her heart filled with a mix of pride and responsibility. "This is just the beginning," she told her team. "We have much to learn and even more to protect. Let's make sure we honor this gift and use it wisely." With the Arctic sky casting a soft glow as the sun dipped below the horizon, the team continued their work, safeguarded by the protocols they had put in place and driven by the boundless curiosity that had led humanity to this point. Beneath the frozen moon, a new chapter in human exploration was just beginning, filled with hope, wonder, and the infinite unknown.